Chapter 13. House of Hades. The Furies circled over Hades' open-roof palace. There wasn't really a need for one in the underworld. The castle was elegant, symbolizing both power and imprisonment. They wandered the dreary hallways, looking for Hades. Aliana gazed up at the stalactites hanging from the ceiling, as if to emphasize the idea that you were trapped. Finally, they reached a vast chamber furnished only with a throne adorned with bones on a small dais. A man wearing a long black robe lounged in the chair fit for a horror movie. So, he had a silky voice that made Aliana want to vomit. It was too similar to Cronus's. "You've finally arrived." He rose with a lavish, "I pray your trip was uneventful." Percy glared at his uncle. "Hardly, thanks to you." Hades raised an eyebrow. "Funny how you assume I'm to blame. Well, like father, like son, I suppose." He clasped his hands behind his back. "But I know why you're really here." He snapped his fingers and a golden flash revealed the frozen image of a woman. Percy stiffened, staring longingly at the woman. No doubt it was his mom, the only family he had ever known or cared about. Aliana could tell that all he wanted to do was run into her arms and feel her embrace again. She knew the feeling, but she would never get that chance. Percy still could. Hades was talking to the others, and the next thing Aliana saw was Percy jerking his backpack off his shoulder and peering inside. He pulled out a 2-foot-long bronze cylinder. Zeus's master bolt. Hades chuckled triumphantly. "Funny how my brother won't bat an eye when he misplaces his stone, but he loses his mind when someone steals his lightning." The others were freaking out and trying to figure out how the bolt had ended up in Percy's backpack, which Aliana realized he hadn't had when they'd split up. "It may be his sign of power, but," Hades sighed, "he always was hot-headed." Aliana glared at the Lord of the Dead. Percy gasped. "I know how we can get out of here." He pulled 4 pearls from his pocket. Hades laughed evilly. "My brother's pearls. They always were an annoying little trick. But they can only protect one person." He focused expectantly on Percy. "So which one of your friends will you leave behind for your mother?" Percy looked from the pearls to his mother. Aliana hung her head when she connected the dots. "I will." "What?" Percy whirled to face her. "This is my fault," she explained. "If I hadn't come, you would have had enough pearls. I'll stay. Get your mom out of here. She doesn't deserve this fate. But I do." "No, you don't." Percy curled his fingers so tightly around the pearls, Aliana was surprised they didn't shatter. Hades chuckled. "Now I see it." They faced the tall, dark man. He smirked. "She may not have claimed you, but how you haven't figured out who she is beyond me." "What are you talking about?" Annabeth asked. Hades focused on Aliana, staring intently into her silver blue eyes. "You look just like her. You act like her, too." Annabeth gazed up at where the Furies were descending the undead soldiers were surrounding them. "We have to go." Aliana looked at Percy. "Get your mom and get out of here." "But," he protested. Aliana drew her knife. "It's not up to you. Go." He handed Annabeth and Grover a pearl and stared at the 2 left in his hands. "Yes, it is." He smashed the pearl at Aliana's feet. "I'm sorry, Mom." Aliana watched the fragile orb shatter against the hard floor. She faced the son of Poseidon. "Percy." Hades charged them, but a puff of smoke burst from the smashed pearls and surrounded them, forming a bubble. They floated up out of the palace and through the spiked ceiling of the underworld. They burst through the surface in the Santa Monica Bay. The water was cold and made their clothes cling to their bodies. "Why would you do that?" Aliana splashed Percy with a spray of salt water. "You could have saved your mom." "I know," he retorted, "but I couldn't leave you there." "Why not?" "I asked you to." Aliana retorted angrily. "What did you expect me to do? Ditch you?" He spat. "Yes," Aliana cried. "Everyone else does. Why couldn't you?" "Because you're my friend," he blurted. Aliana blanched. Their conversation was cut short by a rescue boat picking them up and bringing them to the shore. They rode in awkward silence the whole way to the dock. The boat dropped them off and sped away to deal with the rest of the fallout from the earthquake, the result of Hades' anger. "We have to get the bolt to Zeus," Percy resolved. Annabeth grabbed her shoulder. "What'll happen when Zeus blames you for their theft? What'll you tell them?" Percy met her gaze with a serious stare. "The truth." "And what's the truth?" Grover asked. "Think about it," Percy explained. "Who benefits from a war between the gods?" Aliana watched the motorcycle drive recklessly onto the beach. "Ares," she sneered as the large, leather-clad god of war dismounted his bike. The others followed her gaze to the arrogant biker with fiery eyes. "Percy Jackson," Ares called. "You're supposed to be dead." "Sorry to disappoint you," Percy retorted. The god of war chuckled. "I found the lightning thief, but I let him go, taking the items he stole." Percy uncapped his pen, which turned into a sword. "I'm taking that helm." He pointed to the bronze helmet resting on Ares' motorcycle. Ares smirked, drawing his own sword. "Come and claim it, boy." Percy narrowed his eyes and gripped his sword. "Fine. If I win, I get the helm." Ares nodded. "And if I win, which is likely, you die." Percy nodded. "Percy." Annabeth grabbed his shoulder and spun him to face her. "Here." She took off her beaded necklace from camp and fastened it around his neck. "For luck." Grover gave him a satyr blessing. Aliana met his gaze. "You know I'd have a better chance at beating him, right?" "I know," he shrugged. "But this is my quest." She nodded. "Good luck, Waterboy." He grinned. "I don't need luck." His smile fell. "Thanks. Just don't die." She offered her hand. He took it, grabbing her wrist and nodding. Then he turned to face Ares.